Alright, so we've got the screen recording on now. So this is just a quick tutorial on how to make a really basic bar graph. A lot of you will probably be familiar with this, but for those of you who don't know, this might be useful. So the first thing is you just want to have your data in your Excel spreadsheet. For this particular data set, as you can see, we're looking at 3 different treatment options. So we've got music therapy, we've got cognitive behavioral therapy, and we've got waitlist controls who aren't receiving any kind of treatment. And we're looking at the mean PANAS, positive affect, negative affect sales score. This is just invented data to give you an idea of how to make a bar graph. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to highlight all of the data we'd like to include in our bar graph. Next, we're going to go to the Charts section of Excel. We're just making a basic bar graph, which you're going to find in the column insert. And we just want to do a really basic clustered column because it's going to show us all the data we need. So as you can see, we've created our graph. It's pretty basic at this point. And we just have the 3 different groups. So we've got the 20.6 mean for music therapy, we've got the 21.6 mean for cognitive behavioral therapy, and we've got the 15.4 mean for waitlist controls, which is fantastic. However, as you can see, the way our graph is currently labeled, it doesn't give us a whole lot of information about all of these groups, which can be a bit of a problem. So there's a way that we're going to fix this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to give some labels to our different axes, which is not too difficult to do. So we're going to go to Chart Layout, and you can see there's a subtab called Axis Labels. So we're going to click that. First off, let's give the vertical or y-axis a title. So I'm going to use the rotated title, but whichever one you'd like to use will be to your discretion. And as you can see here, what we're measuring is the mean PANAS score for each of these different treatments. So that's what we're going to put as the y-axis title. So mean PANAS, oops, that's all capitalized. Mean PANAS score, and there we go. So this gives us an idea of what we're measuring on our y-axis. Now for our x-axis title, of course, each of these different columns is going to correspond to a different treatment group. So for our axis title, we're going to put in, very simply, treatment group. Now next up, as you can see, for 3 different treatment groups, we've got treatments 1, 2, and 3, which again is not particularly descriptive. So one thing we might want to do is we might want to change the horizontal axis labels as opposed to the axis titles to match the different treatments. And this is pretty easy to do as well. So you just want to right-click the chart itself. You're going to go to Select Data. And once you go to Select Data, you'll see we've got Series 1. So this is, of course, the data for all of the 3 different columns you're seeing within the bar graph. For Series 1, as you can see, there's a heading for Category X-axis labels. So you're going to click the button beside here. And for Select Data Source, you're just going to highlight the 3 different treatment groups. Press the Data Input button, and you'll click OK. And as you can see now, the 3 different data labels now correspond to the 3 different treatments that we've included. There's a few other things we'd probably like to do. As you can see, Series 1 isn't particularly helpful. We don't have multiple subgroups within each treatment option, so we're just going to get rid of that. The last thing we'd probably like to do is create a nice title for our graph. And you can do this going into Chart Layout and clicking the Chart title option. So in this case, I'm going to say we're going to put our title above the chart, and we'd like our title to be descriptive, of course, give us an idea of what's happening in the chart. So for this particular data set, I'm going to title this chart Mean PANAS Scores for 3 different treatment options. And there we have it, a very nice bar graph that gives us enough information to understand what's happening with the data from the graph and the graph alone. And we can resize this if we'd like, make it wider, taller and shorter, but this should give you a good idea of how to make a very basic bar graph. So hopefully this is helpful. I'm going to stop recording now.